most people, when they hear CrossFit, they think of, guys with their shirts off,
Yeah.
girls with six packs, people flying on rings and climbing up ropes. That is accurate. That is true. That is CrossFit. What is also CrossFit is the class that I just left at 8:30, where there were 3 grandparents, my wife, teachers that are on school break. Right at the end of the day, we are a gym, but like I can humbly say that CrossFit Kokomo, our members, our coaches, and our community have made an impact on the city of Kokomo.
Good morning. Welcome to Season 3 of the Spotlight Podcast. My name is Courtney Butler, and I am the Chamber Manager for the Greater Kokomo Alliance.
And I'm Caitlin Sheets. I am the Economic Development Manager for the Alliance. And we have Kevin Jewell with us this morning of CrossFit Kokomo. Yep. Good morning,
Good
Kevin.
morning. How are we?
Great.
Good.
If you want to introduce yourself and give like a little bit of background on your story in CrossFit Kokomo, and then we'll just take it from there.
Yeah. My name is Kevin Jewell. I was born and raised in Kokomo, went to Western High School, graduated in 2008. Joined the Marine Corps straight out of high school. Spent 7 years in the Marine Corps, and then married my lovely wife, Courtney. We have a 5.5-year-old named Michael. We moved back home in 2015 in July. Started coaching at CrossFit Kokomo in February of 2016, and then Courtney and I became the owners in November of 2018. And we just hit our 10 years as a business last February, or just a couple months ago. So real quick synopsis on me.
Awesome.
Congrats.
So you're celebrating that milestone, but looking into being a coach and seeing that evolving and then turning into an owner. What were your visions and aspirations for the gym, and how has that changed and evolved over the years?
Yeah, so I have a very unique insight on CrossFit Kokomo. When I first moved home, I was just a member, so I didn't start out coaching right away. I was just somebody coming to the classes, which then evolved into coaching a little bit, which then turned into coaching a lot, and then which turned into owning the business. So, what started out as just trying to integrate myself into a community turned into creating the community that my wife and I, wanted to have. So, we have a unique perspective on what we saw and what we loved, when I was when I was a coach, we loved what we had, and we wanted to continue just to evolve that into what we truly had, and in mind for us. So we started out with a very good slate from Andrew Dolmas and his wife Liz, from what they created, and then we just kind of steered left and right until we found what we were looking for.
Did you do CrossFit before you moved back to Kokomo?
Yeah. So, when I was in the Marines, it was very physical and very demanding. And so a lot of the training that we did evolved into, CrossFit-esque. And this was late 2010 or late 2000s, early 2010s. So CrossFit was still very new in the sense of CrossFit as a business. But I remember vividly in 2012 when I was in Afghanistan is when I really started following a CrossFit protocol. And so I would say 2012 was when I started CrossFit methodology and CrossFit training and a CrossFit regiment. So when I had moved home, I'd already probably had 2 or 3 years of CrossFit kind of under my belt, training by myself in my garage, but I had never really had a class or a community to join and, be with during the workout. So that was something new and fun for me when I came home.
Awesome. So do you think did you see yourself owning a business?
No, that was never that was truly never in the cards.
Sure.
Right? God has a weird way to telling trying to guide you and where he wants you.
Definitely.
Me and my wife's plan, we were in that weird fork in the road in the military of if you re-enlist again, you might as well stay in for all 20, or if you're going to get out, now's the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved what I did, and I loved what I was doing. And I had visions of doing some government agency work. I had been advised by a friend to say, in order for you to be looked at, you need your degree. You have to have your degree. So me and my wife were well, let's get out and then let's go home for a little while. Let's get your degree, and then we'll move back. So our whole plan was to move back to the Carolinas or to, Virginia or DC. So when we came home, I started college, and then I started coaching for fun. Mm-hmm. And it would have been the summer of 2018. I had a meeting with Andrew and his wife Liz and kind of told them our plan of like, hey, I graduate in like 4 or 5 months, and our plan is to start, removing ourselves to go on with our plan. And then they kind of like proposed a couple of different options of like, well, would you like to be, co-owners with us, or would you like to own the gym yourself? And so I was very much taken back because like that was nowhere on our radar. I had no business degree. I had no business class. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I liked coaching. I loved CrossFit, and I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. So I went home, and it was actually I think it was my 30th birthday party. My wife was like setting up my whole party, and she came in and she was expecting me to be like, gave them my 5-month notice. And I said, they offered to buy us the gym, and she like stopped and was like, you told them no, right? And I was like, well, I didn't say no. And so the whole night was kind of this awkward, like, while people
You're
were
like,
over.
well, I could have said no.
Yeah, people were over and we were hanging out, and I'm like, this whole time in my head, like, are we really going to do this? And so, long story short, we ended up talking about it. How are we going to make this work? And then, about a month later, we decided, we're going to try it for a couple of years, and if it doesn't work, we'll sell and we'll go about our plan. And then, here we are.
It worked.
It is working. Yeah, it's working.
The Spotlight podcast is sponsored by Community First Bank of Indiana, who was our first call because of how consistently they show up for our small businesses locally. When the partnership began, we invited bank president and CEO Rob Bloom to share the bank's vision. Here's a moment from that conversation.
I've been a part of a small business in the past and understand the struggles and some of the feelings that an entrepreneur can have about being on an island and where do you go for help. So we truly try and provide an outlet for our entrepreneurial customers to have somebody to talk to turn to for advice, or just to talk.
You can hear the full interview in episode 1 or learn more at cfbindiana.com/ourstory. We're glad to have their support along with the other great resources we're sharing today. Community First Bank of Indiana is a member of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
So do you feel like you've had a role in this community and like educating people about CrossFit? Like the CrossFit culture maybe is probably different, than when you started CrossFit versus what it is now.
Yeah. And myself, my outlook on CrossFit has changed since I first started.
That's interesting.
So like when I first started, I'm going to be 37 soon. So when I started, I was 24 and 25. So I was all about the, competing and, lifting heavy and doing all of the very competitive things.
Yeah.
Which is great. And this like CrossFit has a sport for that. And I love it. And I love helping people compete, and I love getting people ready for competitions. And, but myself, as I've gotten older and my outlook has changed on things, I have altered my outlook on CrossFit itself into like a longevity thing. So now, instead of working out twice a day for, 3.5 hours, I get one workout a day, and I try to make that the best that I can. So, not only has my outlook changed, but I would like to say that I've tried to make, some sort of an impact on the community from a fitness sense. We have a lot of firefighters, we have a lot of police officers, a lot of military veterans, and, from people from Grissom. We have a lot of like moms, a lot of dads who, they get 1 hour a day to themselves, and they're not maybe looking to, travel and do competitions. They're looking to exercise and be healthy and stay functional for their overall livelihood. And, I think myself and our coaching staff have really taken that to heart and shown that CrossFit doesn't have to be and is not intended necessarily for the highest of level of people. It's for everyday people. There are also people who are up here on the scale as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think definitely that like functional type of fitness, it's very, very different from if you don't have experience with CrossFit and you hear the word CrossFit.
It's a very intimidating thing.
It's intimidating. And it's scary.
I can meet people like head on with that question.
Right.
Like I recognize, most people when they hear CrossFit, they think of, guys with their shirts off, girls with six packs, people flying on rings and climbing up ropes and doing all these things.
Yep.
That is accurate. That is true. That is CrossFit. What is also CrossFit is the class that I just left at 8:30, where there were 3 grandparents, my wife, teachers that are on school break. That is also CrossFit. And that is like the 99.9% of CrossFit.
Yeah.
Just like I tell people all the time, like people are at the YMCA every morning playing pickup basketball. They're not going to the NBA, but there is a level where they can play basketball.
And part of what people love about that type of like group environment is the community.
100%. Yeah.
Do you think that there are people in your gym who are there strictly for, like, I could go to the gym and work out
yes,
by myself for an hour a day, but they find value in the community and
absolutely
what you've created?
I think the best way to describe that was actually during COVID. So like in 2020, we were well established. We'd been a gym for like 5 years at that point, and then COVID happened and we shut down. Like not a soul in the gym. And it's one of those like distance makes the heart grow fonder type of thing.
Yeah.
And as bad as it was being away, I think it made people realize just how important having a group of people to be with matters. I own the gym. I could go to the gym whenever I want, but I will intentionally go to classes, because when you are with people who want you to succeed, it is a lot easier to be a part of. And it sounds very cliche, and I understand that it sounds like almost cheesy or corny, but it is, you have to experience it to like understand what it's like to be in a group environment where everybody else wants you to succeed almost as much as you do. Like that's a very empowering thing for us, is to be able to, like, when I am doing something everybody in the class wants me to do well. There is not a soul that's like, ooh, I hope he doesn't hit this lift, or I hope he doesn't get more reps than me. Like we all genuinely and wholeheartedly want that. People become friends. People are in weddings. People create friendships that they would have otherwise never had, which then creates like a unique like bonding experience, to where if you don't show up for 2 days, like they're going to be telling you, or you better tell us the day before, like, hey, I'm not going to be here today or tomorrow, or I'm going on vacation next week, so like don't badger me, kind of thing. Because that's just the type of community that we've sort of created, and we are proud of that, and that each class has their own unique groups of people. And then what's also even better is people can go to different classes and then kind of still integrate themselves into even sub communities within the gym. So it's a very cool thing to see. So I absolutely think that there are people who, they come to exercise. We tell people all the time, you join a gym to get fit, you will get a gym family as a byproduct of that.
Whether you want it or not,
you're gonna
probably.
get it. Right. Yeah, like you're gonna come in. I hear it all the time. I just came in to like do my workout, and I just wanted to exercise, and then I end up leaving in 4 group chats and like a bunch of friends. So that's cool for us to see people out and about and come into parties together. So that's really fun.
Yeah, you need people to go through life with and to hold you accountable. Yeah, really.
We had a saying in the military that misery loves company, and so
for sure,
if I'm about to do a hard workout and you're about to do a hard workout, we're at least going to do it together, and we're going to have some music, and we're going to get after it. And then after an hour, it's going to be done, and we'll do it again tomorrow. So it's a, not to be dramatic, but people will say it's like trauma bonding. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad.
I literally thought like, they're kind of trauma bonded.
Right? Like, again, it's not that bad. It's really not. But like, there's something about doing something hard and challenging with others that makes it a little more worthwhile, I think.
Right.
And so talking about that sense of community, we know that you have a lot of involvement with Jackson Street Commons and different fundraisers that you put on. Can you talk a little bit about like why that's important to you? So I'm sure probably you being in the military, you have a heart for veterans, but talk a little bit about the fundraisers and what you've accomplished in the last several years.
Again, so this was actually summer 2018. So we hadn't taken over the gym yet. And this is going to sound very much like it's not a flex and it's not a brag, but I was in Florida with my family. We were on vacation, and we were in the ocean, and I was just like looking at what I had. I was with my family. I was with my wife. We were trying to start our own family. And I was like, man, I had a really good transition back to civilian life. I had a really smooth transition back to Kokomo, back to my family. I found a community, like all the things that are important to me, like I had, and I was very proud of that. And I recognized that not every Marine or not every veteran comes home with that story. And I was like, how can I, a normal veteran, try to give back in some way, shape, or form in my community? So I just remember I was reflecting on that. I come home and I did just a quick Google search of like veterans Kokomo help or whatever I searched. And I stumbled upon Jackson Street. And at the time, they weren't very old. I think they were still fairly young in their infancy stages in Jackson Street. And so then I think I called Angie Siskey, and I had a conversation with her, and I kind of told her, like, I want to help. How can I help? And she was like, we have 27 homeless veterans right now. And like staggering to me, like, just I couldn't grasp that there are veterans in Kokomo that are homeless.
It's heartbreaking.
Like, what do you, like, I couldn't understand it. So, we had further conversations. And so then I was like, how can I help? Like, what can I do? I've got a community of people that I know will get behind me with this. What can we do? She was like, we need stuff. So mind you, like I probably had 2 or 3 months to come up with something. So I established in November of 2018, we ran our very first 24-hour fundraiser. So what happened is midnight on Veterans Day weekend, so Friday night going into Saturday morning, we did a 24-hour fundraiser. Every hour at the top of the hour, so midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., all the way until 11 p.m., we started a new workout. And we just told our members, come and bring stuff. Bring whatever you want. Food, toiletries, blankets, whatever. Anything you want. She had given me a tour around Jackson Street, and they have this little storage room where they have all their canned goods and all of their toiletries and all that. And so I just told our members, like, we need to stock this thing full and just let them have it. So 24 hours goes by. I think we raised like maybe $1,200 cash, but we had an entire U-Haul full of stuff. Like, it was just full. So we show up Sunday to deliver it, and she was like, Kevin, like, I don't have room for any of this. Like, this is too much stuff. And I was like, well, then you better start just like delivering it to their rooms, because like, this is how we're giving back. So then a year goes by, they're very thankful, right? Like, they're beyond thankful. All their veterans, they all got brand new bedding, bed sheets. They all got brand new, like, it was a very cool event. So then I recognized, like, maybe that wasn't the best way we could help. Like, that was a good way, but what's the best way? So she said, honestly, the best thing is like just monetary donations, because then they can allocate those funds however they need to when they need it, right? Like, having 3 years supplies of toilet paper is awesome, but that might not help them get a suit for a job interview. Or having 80 cans of Campbell's soup is fantastic, but that doesn't help them get a coat if they're cold. So she said that doing monetary donations was probably going to be the best way to support them. So the next year, that's what we asked for. We told our members, hey, if you want to help, monetary donations. And I think that year we raised like $6,000, which, for our little micro gym of, at the time, 120 members, like, I was incredibly humbled and proud by that. And it has evolved now to what we do is we ask businesses in the community to sponsor an hour. So we say, for a Community First sponsored last year. Thank you, Community First. We appreciate you guys very much. They sponsored, I don't know what hour it was. I'm going to make it up. They sponsor midnight. So we say, hey, the midnight hour is sponsored by Community First Bank. We had every hour co-sponsored. So that means that we had 48 local businesses that sponsored an hour. They donated money. They get a banner. They get a flag. We hang it up during the workout. When the workout's done, we take it down. We put the next flag up. And we did that for 24 straight hours. And this year, we raised $24,000 within the 24 hours, which has then eclipsed the $126,000 mark over the 7 years that we've done this event. So again, from our relatively small gym to be able to create an impact like that, I feel is probably, why I'm here. Like, I think that's probably what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm sure if you're a business owner, you've gone through am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I doing the right thing? Anytime we do anything with Jackson Street, that's kind of like a little bit of a solidification that, we're on the right path and we're doing the right thing. And our community is top notch. Like that's the best day at the gym for us. We do a lot of really cool things in the community and at the gym, but like Jackson Street is a really humbling and exciting thing to be a part of.
That's awesome. So it's like a yearly temperature check.
Every single year. And probably the coolest thing that we do with Jackson Street is, and I'll get chills talking about it. So we recognize that a lot of these veterans, like they're homeless. They might not have family. They might not have a lot of friends,
Right.
but they have each other. So like that community is what they hold on to. So it's cool for our community and their community to merge together. And so what we do is every year, outside of getting sponsorships and doing monetary donations, I ask Angie to ask every veteran to give us 3 items that they want, not need. We recognize that they need underwear. You'll get all that. What is something you want? And it's so sad to hear what some veterans want.
Yeah.
They want quarters for laundry. They want, one guy wanted like Tootsie Rolls. Somebody wanted an alarm clock. So to hear what they want, they give us a wish list. We put it up on our bulletin board.
You're gonna make me cry.
It's kind of like funny because the afternoon classes, they sometimes don't get to like pull tabs because the morning takes them all, or they're very limited on what they can take. Because we'll say like, hey guys, tabs are up. You guys can go grab them. And you'll just see a flock of people just take multiple tabs, to the point now where there are veterans that have been there since we've done this. People grab, because we ask if you could write your name on there. We want to write a card or whatever.
Right.
One of my coaches, Coach Brittany, she has grabbed the same person intentionally for the last like 4 years.
Oh.
So she doesn't know this person. She's never met him, but she has this unique relationship with this individual because every year she looks for his name and gets what he wants. And like, that's really cool.
I think that probably speaks a lot to the culture that you've created within the gym and the people that you've brought there,
Yep.
In positions of authority, maybe, because your coaching staff, they have to uphold the values of the gym when you're not there.
And again, if you're a business owner, like I have, and I will die on this hill 100 times over again, like they are what keeps CrossFit Kokomo on the straight and narrow. Because you can own a business and not have good like you can do the wrong things with the wrong. You can try to do the right things and have the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the right people, wrong things are few and far between.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like I have the best coaching staff in the world, and I could not be more grateful for them because they know how important it is to me. Which then makes it important to them, which then disperses it out. Because just because I'm the leader, that doesn't mean that I'm the end all say all. Because if my coaches don't get behind it, then it's going to be really hard to get everybody else behind it. But they run with it. I mean, they are 100% the reason why CrossFit Kokomo is and will continue to be like what it is.
Have there been moments where you've thought like, maybe we need to pivot or change course, or I don't like the way that, this event ended up?
Yeah. I mean, there's been bumpy roads and there's been, decisions and things that have happened that aren't ideal. And, we've had to pivot and, we worked with, there was a pivotal time in our ownership where, Aaron and Drew Larison, we did a why mission statement and we helped redirect the course of our path. And that helped us, I kind of talked earlier about steering a ship, and they helped us get on that straight azimuth. But yeah, I mean, and again, I think every business owner or anybody who's ever been in a position where you have to make a lot of decisions, sometimes they're not the best, and sometimes you've got to be able to be willing to pivot and change your decisions and lead in different ways. So, yeah, there's absolutely been times where things didn't go as planned, and you've got to, adjust it, because if you don't and you keep going down certain paths, then things might just evolve into what your vision isn't. And so, yeah, that's definitely been something that we've had to work through. So
you've talked a lot about how this wasn't necessarily your plan, but you're still doing it and you're loving it. What has, and especially it's interesting that you didn't have any business experience and
somebody gave me the keys to this place and was like, go.
Here you go. Yeah. And trusted you to do that. Yeah. So I'm sure your thoughts were like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to run a business? And then you've been successful. Like what has surprised you along the way?
And I think what surprised me the most is just like it's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of like unseen work. And it's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
And it's a lot of like, for a lot of people, Jackson Street is, for instance, because we're talking about Jackson Street, that's a 1-day event for them. Well, that's like a 6-month event for me, like looking for sponsors and
Fundraising is hard
it's not easy.
work.
It's really weird to ask people for money.
It is so weird to
Yeah.
ask people for money. And it's weird, especially if you have a personal relationship with them and then you're coming to them with your work hat on.
Yep.
And expecting, or maybe not knowing if they're going to care as much about this thing
As you
do.
Yep.
But I think in that point, like, no, it's not necessarily selling if you believe in what you're doing.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think-
absolutely.
Yep.
And I think that makes it a lot easier.
Right. And I'm not just saying like, hey, we want money because we want money. Right.
Sure.
Like,
Right.
There's a reason behind it.
yeah. And I will always say too, like Kokomo gets a bad rap on a lot of things, right? Like everybody wants to throw shade at Kokomo. Kokomo is not bad. Kokomo is a very good place. I've been multiple places. I've been around the world and like Kokomo is not a bad place. I love Kokomo. I love our community.
Yeah.
And when I say things like we have 27 homeless veterans about 4.5 miles that way that need our help.
Yeah.
Here's your chance.
Yep.
Because I think people want to help, but they don't know how. And so I feel like this is like a way to be like, here we go.
Until
This is your
I
chance.
worked here at the Alliance, I didn't know that Jackson Street Commons existed. I've lived in Kokomo, born and raised in Kokomo, lived here minus college my entire life.
Yep. It's sad.
It is sad.
And we are, unfortunately, there are some places like Jackson Street around
Yeah.
the state, around the country,
right.
but we're just this little tiny town that has 27 and a wait list.
Yeah.
Angie has told me that there are veterans who will like migrate to Kokomo to try to get on the wait list. So yeah, I mean,
Kokomo is showing up and doing a
they
good
will.
thing, right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
they want to help. They might not know how to. So I feel like this is, God's given me a vessel to be like, you can help. Let's go ask people. And so I don't feel bad asking for money for veterans.
Yeah.
Like at one point they were willing to die for our country and now they need some help. So like, do you have $20 to help?
And I think that it's really cool that you've started asking them what they want also. And that maybe it just makes me think to like the culture of your gym, like you value people as human beings.
Yeah. So our mission statement, part of our mission statement is, to support, empower, and serve everybody so people feel part of a greater cause.
Yeah.
We're a gym, right? At the end of the day, we are a gym. But like, I can humbly say that CrossFit Kokomo, our members, our coaches, and our community have made an impact on the city of Kokomo
Definitely.
and helped veterans and helped others. And we've done other fundraisers, but Jackson Street is just our really big one. Like we want people to feel part of a greater cause, right? Like we don't want people to just come in, do their workout. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Like anybody who does anything good for themselves, love it. Okay. Our vision is to do that and then give. Go help. How can you help? You have a well-abled body. Like CrossFit gym membership isn't cheap. You probably are relatively okay from a financial standpoint. If we have a way to help others who need help, like let's explore that and let's see what that looks like. And so, yeah, I definitely think that, part of a greater cause, our members now like look forward to those types of things. It's not like pulling teeth or they're like, oh, here we go again. They're excited. They want to help and they want to make an impact and be a part of a greater cause.
It would be neat to ask people like about, the evolution of the fundraiser, and maybe I think it's cool that you have the skill of self-reflection to say, okay, we gave them everything we thought that they needed. But sometimes people do just need things that they want. Like whether you have a home or not, or, you're living paycheck to paycheck or whatever the circumstances may be, like you're still a human being who has wants. And that,
they wrap them up, like they wrap the gifts.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like in Christmas paper. Cause like we express like maybe they haven't opened up a Christmas gift in 20 years.
Yeah.
So like we want to, they're humans.
Yep.
They're veterans. They hit a rough spot somewhere along the lines.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to help.
Yeah.
So it's a really like like other than, monetary donations are great. And Angie, they allocate those funds however they need to.
Yep.
But to be like, hey, here's a jacket you asked for. Here's, somebody wanted I think it was Hello Dora the Explorer something or another. And we think that she probably had a niece, granddaughter, and she wanted to probably give that as a gift. So she might look like a hero now. So yeah, that's part of the greater cause of our mission statement, that like, they're not just here for a workout. Like, they're not here for a 1 hour workout. They're here for a deeper meaning. And our coaches and me and my wife have tried really hard to like integrate, like, you'll be a member, you'll exercise, but we're also going to make a change in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a couple of things about CrossFit Kokomo that I think that you do that speaks to maybe how you've become business savvy in ways that maybe you didn't expect before. One is your senior class.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love them.
I want
So
you to
much
talk
fun.
a little bit about that, because
gosh, okay.
not only are you valuing those people and, pouring into them in the ways that you do, but I think that that's rare, maybe, in communities like ours, and especially where we have a very aging population.
Sure. Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. And then I also want you to talk about how you schedule class times around like our manufacturing based workforce.
Sure.
How do you schedule class times so that you can get people in the gym?
Yeah. So first off, our senior class, like, it is such a fun hour.
Yeah.
Like, they're so much fun. And we don't put them in a glass box and say like, be careful, don't move,
Yeah.
don't get hurt. We are very responsible with them.
Right.
There's a saying in the CrossFit space of the difference between an Olympic athlete and the elderly is by degree, not kind.
Mm-hmm.
An Olympian may need to squat to break a world record. A senior may need to squat to get off the toilet.
Yep.
They're both squatting. The degree is what's different, not the kind. So our seniors come in and they do CrossFit. They do functional movements, constantly vary them at a relative intensity that's responsible for them. We're not going to have them do burpees till they puke. We're not going to have them try to climb a rope, even though we do have seniors that can.
Yep.
We have them squat up and down to a box. We have them lift their arms over their head with weights. We have them pick things up off the ground. We always tell them, if you find a doctor that tells you to stop deadlifting, like, that really stinks, because now you can't pick up your keys. Now you can't pick up your kids.
Get a new doctor.
Now, right? Like, and I'm very pro medicine, but like, I think what they're saying is don't lift irresponsibly, which we tell everybody that.
Yep.
So our senior class is so much fun. We, how that actually started was even before Andrew and Liz, Chad Coy, who owned Club Fitness 24, which is now One More Gym, his mom, Helen, had a class of, seniors.
Neat.
And when she passed away, there was all these seniors that didn't have a class.
Yeah.
And so then Andrew kind of like Chad kind of took it over, handed it down. And so when we created CrossFit Kokomo, like, we brought them with us, and we've got some members that have been with us since day one. They were actually, so every month we do Athlete of the Month. Like, our coaches nominate somebody, and it's usually never who's the strongest or who's the fittest. It's like, who embodies CrossFit Kokomo? Like, who do we want the face to be? And in the month of May, it was two. It was Susie and Pam.
I
and
saw that post.
They're our senior strong members, and they are so cool.
Yeah.
They tell their friends they do CrossFit. They buy all of our shirts. They do all of our events. And our goal with them is to keep them independent for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, like, you talk about like the misconceptions of CrossFit.
Yeah.
There's modifications for everything.
Everything
It's
and
like
everyone.
a personal person that's gone through this before. And like, if you're not physically able to, but especially seniors, like, we want you to be safe. We want you to be able to do the things and live independently. And I think that's a true testament to what you're doing, because we're just trying to make people better and live longer each day.
Yeah. Like, quite literally, our role with them is keep them independent
Yeah.
for as long as possible.
And give them a purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, when people stop moving,
Movement is medicine.
it's a downward slope.
Yeah.
Quickly.
They're so funny. So like last Friday, I was at the Strawberry Festival last Friday, and we didn't have a coach to coach the seniors at the time. So they collectively came to the gym, and people were still in the gym. There just wasn't a coach, and did their own little workout together.
I love it.
There was like 9 of them. No coach. People were in the gym. It was safe.
Right.
But like that gives them something to do.
Yes.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:45, they come to the gym. Sometimes, little plug here, they go to Andrew Dolmus's family's restaurant in Commerce, Indiana. So after the workout, hey guys, we're going to the Dipper. Do you guys want to go? Like that's their crew. That's their community.
I love it.
And it's, if you've never been to CrossFit Kokomo, a cool time to come would be like at 10:30 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and seeing this class. Like it's so cool. We put on Elvis, we put on Christian music for
I
him.
would love to be.
We
in the
put
senior
on
class.
like 80s, like country, like
I love that.
we make it their class. It's theirs,
Yeah.
right? Like we adapt to them, and it's so much
I
fun.
belong there.
And Susie, God love her. I'll tell the story and then we can move on. But like Susie, she, her oxygen level is a little low. And so she went to the doctor. She's had some like pneumonia issues, whatever. But her doctors gave her like this little portable oxygen tank. Looks like just a purse, but it's got oxygen tank. And the first question she asked was, am I still allowed to work out? He's like, well, it might be hard with this thing in your way. And so they figured out a way to like strap it to her back. And she's plugging along.
I
Oh.
love that.
Oxygen in
God
her
love
nose
her.
and just plugging along. Doing the best she can. Because what else is she going to do? Sit at home? Like,
Yeah.
And potentially get worse.
And get
right?
worse.
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it's so much fun. Like it is a blast to coach them. And it's just a perspective thing that like, it's cool to know that because they're moving, they can go to their kids' baseball game, go up and down the stairs. They can go to the basketball game and not have to sit in the front row because they can't climb up the stairs. They can get the salt to the water softener downstairs. I've got a personal training client, Diana Wilburn, who her laundry is up and down or in her basement. So she's got to go up and down the stairs, So we work on like carrying things all over the place. So it's cool to see that like unfold in real time too.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
So I'm curious about operational type of things
Yep.
too. For example, structuring class times around maybe like a manufacturing based
Yeah.
workforce, or you said you have a lot of like first responders
Yep.
who are members of the gym. How do you make the gym work for the community?
Well, so we have 8 classes a day. That's a third of the day we have a chance for people to come in.
Yep.
Which that's a lot. That's a lot of
That
classes.
is a lot.
There's a lot of gyms that, have 4 or 5 classes a day and we have 8. And, we're at the point now where all of our classes are relatively busy. We have classes as early as 5 a.m. and then as late as 6:45 p.m. And, during COVID, we had an extra class in there just because we wanted to try to spread it out a little bit more. But 8 classes a day, we try to tell people like there is a very high likelihood that there is an hour that you can come to the gym.
Right.
Now, whether or not you decide to is a different battle.
Right.
We tell people all the time, and I joke with people when they're like, oh, I've got to do this and that and this and that. I'm like, well, we have a 5 a.m. class. And that's the response I get. They're like, yeah, no. And we recognize it's hard. 5 a.m. is hard.
Yeah.
Like that's not an easy class to come to,
Right.
but it's
Well,
there.
Where
Right.
can we prioritize?
It's
for
an
sure.
option. Yeah. And you just got to kind of shuffle the decks a little bit. And, but again, I'm not a bully and I'm not a shame on you for not coming, but it's an option. And what's cool is there are 25 people that come at 5 a.m. and all 25 had to make that decision of like alarms going off, snooze or wake up.
Yeah.
Same, throughout the day. So, we've got a lot of first responders. So we have a lot of police officers and firemen where depending on what their shift is, they'll come before or after their shift. And, we've got class times that pretty much can hit all spectrums of all workforce related schedules and times and shifts and all that.
So I'm in the stage of life. Courtney's also in the stage of life right now. We both have little kids. Do you guys have childcare? How do you
do.
make
So
that accessible?
We have gone back and forth on childcare a lot of times. What tends to happen is because people go in seasons, they need it and then they don't need it.
Right.
And then they need it and then they don't need it. And then when you have that up and down, it becomes hard to have a structured schedule of when we need it. But we do currently have it Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 11 a.m. So we also recognize that it doesn't work for everybody. That only
right.
works for a certain amount of people. But we do have childcare 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We have a childcare room. So like if you've got we have a TV in there that has YouTube and Netflix and all the, kid shows they can watch. And we have Wi-Fi so they can hop on iPads if they want to during the workouts, and the doors open so you can see out if you wanted to see the kids. So we have a room where they can go in there. If you've got a young one, you probably want somebody to watch them, and that's where that Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 kind of hops into place. We also have a community that's like, hypothetically, let's say you had a kid and you're like, hey, I'll watch your kid during your workout. We get that a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll watch your kid.
That's cool.
Right? Friends of friends that are just like, hey, I'll do the 3 o'clock. You come to 4:15, bring your kid, and I'll take your kid for an hour. So we don't necessarily have childcare during that 4:15, but we have people who are like, I'll watch your kid.
Yeah, people who are stepping up.
Yep.
But
Friends
you
that
also
step
have a
up.
room, so you're saying that like people that like they have a 7-year-old.
Yep.
They
All
could
the time.
just go in there.
Yep. They go in there all the time.
Hypothetically, if someone had a
If
7-year-old.
there was a situation where a 7-year-old came about, yeah, there's a room. They go in there. There's TVs. There's Wi-Fi. They can hop on. They can hang out. They can do whatever they want. We make sure that they're not on the floor during the workouts, but there's an area where they can just go and hang out.
So as we're wrapping up, we've talked about the misconceptions of CrossFit, like talking about that. If someone's never done CrossFit before and you want them to come, you have a lot of like bring a friend week so they can come and try it out. Besides that, what is one thing that you would want someone to know to get them to come and try it?
So yeah, we always offer a free week. So we used to just do like a free day, come and try a class.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realized like sometimes that one class might just be a butt kicking class. And it was really, really, really hard for everybody that comes in the door. And if that's somebody's first exposure to CrossFit,
They're not coming back.
they're not coming back.
Not coming back.
Or let's say that it was a day that it was really easy or like not so hard, or, we didn't do any burpees and it was not bad. They might think that that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we've learned is give them an entire week. Let them experience it for an entire week. We don't take their debit card. We don't give them access to have a payment method on their account, because we want it to be you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. We're not taking a dime. We don't want your money right now. We want you to experience this for yourself. If after that week you decide you still want to, then we can have that discussion. But let's do an entire week of a genuinely like no card on file. Don't want to see your card. And we've had people after their first day be like, I love it. I want to sign up. And I'm like, cool. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't worry about a membership right now.
Right.
And that has done wonders for us, because then it makes them like, oh, they don't want my money right now. Maybe they really want me to make sure this is for me.
Mm-hmm.
They do. Maybe they do care about me and not just my money. So I would say the number one misconception is that I have to be able to do something. Like, there is no minimum, you must be this tall to ride prerequisite for CrossFit. Like, the only thing you must be able to do is you must be able to breathe. And like, that's kind of it. Like, you must be willing to try.
Sure.
There's going to be things that maybe you can't do. There's going to be things that you struggle with, but whatever you think you can't do, you'll never be able to.
Yeah.
But you've got to be willing to try. Our coaching staff, fantastic human beings, which then creates fantastic coaches. I care so much more about the person than the athlete, that I will make sure that your first workout, your first week is such a good experience that the only reason why you don't want to come is like it doesn't fit your schedule, but not because it's too hard for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or that you don't feel like you can do something. We want to make it to where it drives home the force that I can do this. Maybe not as good as I want to right now, but I can do a lot of things that will in turn to more later on. So give it a try. Try it. If after a week you decide it's not for you, you can at least say, I tried it. It's not for me, or not right now, but I can assure you it's more than likely going to show you that you can do a lot more than what you think.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you. You're a
Absolutely.
good human. This was so
I try.
fun.
Yeah.
I try my best.
Well, thank you to Community First Bank of Indiana for sponsoring this Spotlight podcast, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.